color, that's it. They don't get no high quality. Takes too long to upload. Give them the color. Give them the color so they don't bitch. Let me know when the camera's on, motherfucker. It's on now. God, what am I paying you for? What am I paying you the hundreds of dollars a day to sit? Whatever. National Football League picks. Week 5. By the way, the Cleveland Browns are 2-2 at this juncture of all junctures and whatever. Alrighty. Thursday night's game at Cleveland. Buffalo Bills coming to town at 2-2. Cleveland Browns are coming into town, are in town at 2-2, coming off 2 straight victories. Now this Browns team is primed and ready with the number 2 ranked defense in the National Football League against the run, and they would be number 1, but Denver's number 1, and we all know why Denver's number 1. No one runs on them because they're always down by 20 points. So they're basically the number 1 ranked defense against the run and number 8 against the pass for a combined like number 4 ranked defense. And we all know, no one wants to face the Cleveland Browns defense. That front 7 and even the back end right now is just unstoppable. They're physical. They get after the quarterback and they fuck you up. Now this being a rookie quarterback, E.J. Manuel, who I believe is going to be a good one. But being that they're going to probably make the Buffalo Bills one-dimensional, I think the Cleveland Browns are riding the high right now with the Indians being in the playoffs tonight, which I will be going to that game most likely. I believe the Cleveland Browns win this game 31-10. That's my prediction. Now I know 10 points is a lot better than Cincinnati did, but I believe they get 10 points. If they don't, we get 31. I pick the Browns, so get the 4 points and take the Cleveland Browns. Next game, Tennessee at home getting 2.5 against Kansas City. Now, I'm not a believer in Kansas City Chiefs. I really ain't. They're 4-0. I'm not a believer. Good defense. However, I'm not a believer in Alex Smith. The only reason Buffalo or Tennessee is getting points is because Jake Locker's out. So I don't know who the backup is. I'm taking Kansas City on the road for the simple fact that Jake Locker's out of the game. If Jake Locker was in, that fucking line would be reversed. Tennessee would be given probably 5. Baltimore getting 3 at Miami. Well, here's the thing. Baltimore Ravens coming off a horrible game by Joe Flacco. Miami Dolphins coming off a horrible game by second-year quarterback to Ryan Tannehill. I'm telling you right now, the Ravens got a lot of hidden problems that people don't realize, and they just signed an offensive lineman because Brian McKinney couldn't block a goddamn Subaru. I'm taking the Miami Heat or Miami Dolphins to rebound. I think Tannehill's going to have a big game, even though the Ravens are going to go defense. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to fucking reinvent himself. I think the Dolphins win this game 24-13. Jacksonville getting 11.5 points at St. Louis. Jacksonville, you might as well give that 30. Can you imagine the spread when the Broncos play them? It's going to be about 30. Jacksonville is basically the worst team in the league. They're going to get the first pick, Teddy Bridgewater, if they choose to take them. Take the St. Louis Rams 42-3. They're going to fucking destroy Jacksonville. New England getting 1.5 at Cincinnati. Well, New England, I believe, is the worst 4-0 team in National Football League history. I mean, they're getting 1.5 at Cincinnati, and I believe Cincinnati is overrated. I believe Andy Dalton's horrible, and they have their problems. Because after what Cleveland did, Cleveland exposed them. Do I think New England can do that? Probably not. Simply because New England don't have the guns on defense Cleveland does. And I don't think that New England's offense is going to be able to go against... Look, the worst thing that happened to New England was Cincinnati getting beat. So I'm taking the Bengals right now to beat the Patriots 33-21, 33-24. I don't see the Patriots being able to stop. I think the Dolphins, Bengals going to have a focus. I think they have a good game. But I don't think the Bengals win that division. I think they have to do it in Cleveland Browns. I'm just not a believer in New England. If New England gets by Cincinnati, it's a time test. They get by this test, then I'll be a believer in New England. Indianapolis getting 2.5 points at home against Seattle. Now, that's a weird line because Seattle sucks on the road. I know they came back because Matt Schaub sucks. They were down 20-3. Matt Schaub basically, take the game. Take the game. But I'm telling you, Trent Richardson is going to have your customary Trent Richardson day, but actually worse. He'll have something like 14 rushes for 28 yards because they're going to have to throw the ball against this defense. You're not going to run on this defense. Trent Richardson won't even average a yard on this defense. I think Andrew Luck's going to come out here and find some holes, and I think they're going to win the game. I think the Colts win at home 27-14. I'm not a believer in Russell Wilson yet. I'm sorry. I'm not a believer in that team's offense on the road, even though they won last week because Matt Schaub gift wrapped it for him. So I'm taking Indianapolis. Detroit getting 7 at Green Bay. Tough game. Detroit's got a fantastic offense. Green Bay's got a fantastic offense. They're at home. Detroit's getting 7. Interdivision game. Be honest with you, I like the Pistons or the Lions in this game. I think the Lions actually win this game outright. I think Green Bay has to realize you don't have a defense you can't win in this league. I mean, look, they think they're the generic Patriots. You're not even going to win the regular season without. You got lucky and beat the shitty-ass Pittsburgh Steelers 4 years ago in the Super Bowl. You better get a defense. You don't get a defense, you're not going to do nothing. So I'm thinking Detroit in this game. Somewhere it's going to be a high-scoring game. Detroit's going to have 42. Green Bay will put up 38. But Detroit's getting 7 points, so they're not even going to need it, but they're dead. So I think Detroit. New Orleans, a pick'em game at Chicago. At Chicago. Let me tell you something about Jason Cutler. He's coming off a horrendous performance against the Detroit Lions. And what's his name? Ryan. Not Buddy Ryan, his son. Whatever, you know the Ryan I'm talking about, Rob Ryan. He's going to frustrate Jason Cutler. And I like the Saints to go into Soldier Field. I like the Saints to win this game somewhere along the lines of 27-17. I just don't see Jason Cutler being the future in Chicago. In fact, I see Jason Cutler, he's a free agent next year, you got to just get rid of him. Let him go. New York Giants and Philadelphia. At New York Giants, Philadelphia's getting 2 points. This game really no one gives a fuck. The only time you give a fuck about this game is if you're an MSC East fan. That's the only time you care about it. Or if you're an Eagle or fucking Redskin fan, or whatever. That's all, or Giant fan. That's the only thing you care about. This game has the makings of the worst game of the year. The Giants suck and the Eagles suck. But, that being said, I like the Eagles to win this game 27-24. I think they're just going to win the game. I think the Giants are one of the worst teams in football. I mean, this is a boring game, but the Eagles are getting 2 points. 27-24 the Eagles. Arizona getting 2 points at home against Carolina and Cam Newton. Well, I got news for you. Bruce Arians finally going to get that offense on track. And I like the Arizona Cardinals and Carson Palmer to really put up about 35 points, opposed to Carolina's 27 points. And I like the Cardinals to win the game at home. And basically a blowout. You know, Carolina will score a couple touchdowns towards the fourth quarter. Whatever, you know. So I like Bruce Arians to get that shit going on. Oakland, now this is a weird game. It's at 11:30, which means 11:30 here, 8:30 in San Diego on the Western Coast. This game was pushed back as Oakland Athletics game. But Oakland's getting 8.5 against San Diego. At home, they're getting 8.5. Now this is the interdivision game. I know how these rivalries go. You got Phillip Rivers versus Terrell Pryor on the Ohio State. I'm more inclined at this juncture to like San Diego on the road because I know Terrell Pryor can put up points, but you're not going to stop Phillip Rivers. I'm telling you, Raiders aren't the defense to stop him. So I'm liking the San Diego Chargers to put about 41 points on the Raiders and Terrell Pryor to hang 30. So I like the Chargers. At Dallas, they're getting 7.5 against Denver. Upset of the week pick right here. Tony Romo. No homo. Tony Romo gets the job done as the Cowboys win this game outright against the Denver Broncos. They're going to make Peyton Manning throw about 3 interceptions this game. I'm telling you right now. You watch my picks. I'm telling you right now. They're going to play fucking tough physical defense on the wide receivers, bump them at the line, press them up, and I think Peyton Manning's going to be forced into man coverage, and he's just going to get picked apart. That's how I look at it. That's how, or zone coverage. Or he's going to get picked apart. Well, I'm telling you, they're going to get picked apart. Not zone coverage, but you know what I'm talking about. They're going to get picked apart. Trust me, Peyton Manning's going to get picked apart. They're going to put pressure on him. He's going to be forced into man throws. So I like the Cowboys. Houston getting 6.5 at San Francisco. Matt Schaub getting 6.5 points on the road. You can give him 20 right now. Matt Schaub sucks. He's the sole reason Houston will lose this game. San Francisco at home will win this game. They'll put 38 points on that struggling Houston Texan defense that gave up fucking 20-some points in the second half with Russell Wilson's undersized 5'8". They're gonna give up. They're gonna beat Houston 37-14. Houston don't have nothing. The Houston's done. The Monday Nighter. New York Jets getting 9.5 at Atlanta. You know, I'm not a believer in the Atlanta Falcons after the 1-3 start. In fact, I've never been a believer in the Atlanta Falcons even last year in the playoffs. But then again, Geno Smith going on the road in that dome. Getting how many points again? My memory's shot. But he's getting 9.5 points. I'm more inclined to take the veteran Matt Ryan, even though he's not that good. So I like the Falcons to win the game somewhere along the lines of 31-16. I know Jets got a tough defense, but you're playing at the Falcons, whatever the fuck the place is called, Falcon, no, whatever. And I like the veteran team to hang 30 or 31 on you. And Geno Smith to continue to struggle. You ain't not a quarterback since Chad Pennington. So my upset of the week was Dallas getting beat, or Dallas winning over Denver. And I'm really, really pumped up about this NFL season because my Cleveland Browns are probably, if I had to do a power ranking right now, they'd definitely crack the top 10. Guaranteed. That's a given. A given. Now the English Premier Picks will be put off to probably Friday. So they're not a priority right now. Even though I'm like every week, I'm like 9-1, and I'm so fucking a beast at it. So anyway, those are the picks. I'm going to the Indians game tonight, so I'm not going to be able to put any other uploads out. But I am going to start playing Battlefield, one of these goddamn shooter games real soon. And I'll be bringing more of them. And that's the bottom line. It's what I do. It's what I do. Call an ambulance. Call an ambulance.